ngi leen naa gërëm aw ma laajte yu bari lu mu war a laajte bool maa ngi leen naa gërëm. maa ngi tudd Baboucarr Diallo maa ngi dëkk tranquille.
Thank you very much.
dafa dee topp programme maa ngi topp programme bi te ina ngi try trop yaa Adja Aïssatou.
Thank you.
waaw ina ngi try yàlla na yàlla fay leen.
Amin.
waaw yokkal kàttan bu baax.
Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Lii is part of building a nation. Because Islam suñ ko bàyyee ci gannaaw rek bàyyi na yëpp.
Oh yes.
loolu leen fekkee fii.
Oh yes.
yàlla na yàlla fay ñun yëpp.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin.
naa def ni yàlla na yàlla may leen kàttan bu bari.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin.
waaw man awma lu ma laa laajte daal lu nga doon wax ne wax nga yëpp daal.
Wallaay jërëjëf jërëjëf.
waaw waaw jërëjëf.
Thank you very much. You see, Aïssatou, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never forgot that favor. You see, he was somebody who, if you do one good to him, he would do 10 or at least more than that to you. When they showed him their sympathy, when they saved him, in those occasions, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam created that constitution in which they socialized, in which they demonstrated justice to them, even though you may see that they have difference in faith. The other thing is, when, for example, there was this conflict between the Persian Empire and the Roman Empire. If you read Surah Rome, Alif Lam Mim Ghulibatir Rum, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay? When you read Surah Rum, Alif Lam Mim Ghulibatir Rum fi adna al-ard wa hum min ba'di ghalabihim sayaghlibun fi bid'i sinin. There was a conflict. Those days, Persian Empire and the Roman Empire, they were the biggest empires on earth. Now they had a very tough fight, and then the Roman Empire was defeated by the Persian Empire. Because Romans were Christians, and Persians were the worshippers of fire. Yes, and then the Romans were defeated by the Persians. The Prophet was very, very, very sad.
Very angry. Yeah.
He was very saddened. Why? Because Christians are closer, of course, to him than the Persians. That is why the Quran even was revealed. Alif Lam Mim Ghulibatir Rum. Allah is saying that Rome, Assalamu alaikum.
Another one on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Marhab.
Yeah. Good evening, Ustaz.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just have a question that I want to ask.
Welcome.
Yeah, it might be out of the topic, but I think it's important.
No problem, go ahead.
That is male conducting deliveries, like male midwives. Well, I don't know what is the Sharia and the law saying about that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, to answer your question, in a pure Islamic state, that will not happen. In a pure Islamic state, they will train men as nurses or midwives, and then women, and then they will attend each the other. But in a non-Islamic state or in a Muslim state like ours, you go with your wife and you discover, you go to the hospital or anything and you discover that there's no male, there's no women who do that. So now here what Islam says is that you have to succumb, you have to yield, but based on the principle of necessity. Based on the principle of necessity. And it must be done and regulated with etiquettes. Meaning, if you go with your wife, don't leave her with the man. You make sure that you go with her with the man. And even the midwifery, the man who is conducting that should not allow himself to be in private with any woman. For example, because you are just given exception to deal with a woman. But originally speaking, you should not deal with a woman. Because the growing of a woman is not allowed for you. But because there is no other woman, and this woman has to be cured, that you build on the principle of necessity. Necessity, they say, dictates exceptions. But also there is another principle that said necessity is bounded by its limit. So because of necessity is bounded by its limit, when you have a woman coming, make sure that you use necessity to the narrowest domain, meaning don't allow yourself to be alone with any woman because it's not safe. Shaitan is dangerous.
Very powerful.
Secondly, you also do not step beyond the areas that is needed. If, for example, the woman can be cured just by seeing this part, don't go the parts that are very sensitive. Thirdly, you are advised to use gloves. For example, if you are touching other parts of the woman and you can touch glove and you know it, please touch gloves. All these are things that will help you. And fourthly, make sure that you invite another woman. Even if you are doing it, I'm not saying that you will be in private, but invite another woman. For example, you man and a woman and the patient. If there's no woman, invite her husband. If there is no husband, invite another relative of her. If not, then invite another man. And then you have gloves, and then you make sure that to the limited of necessity. If you do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you. But if you don't do that, then the intention to cure you have might turn into something that
is very clear. Yes. It depends on what exactly you are thinking.
So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
So I was talking about the sympathy of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the Christian. Alif lam mim ghulibatir rum fi adna al-ard wa hum min ba'di ghalabihim.
There's another caller on the line.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Mr. Jeremy, sir.
Welcome.
Bangadef.
Sant Yalla.
Ja naka la kër.
Ñu ngi fi rek.
Alhamdulillah.
Sa programme bi neena de.
Yal na Yalla kontaan.
Jërëjëf.
Deguma olof bu baax man soose la.
Waa set na.
Thank you very much. Sa olof kay set na.
Dama de try ndànk.
Déedéet set na yaa ñu gañe sax ñun li nga wax duñ ko mën a wax.
Yaa ma man.
Ñun ñaar yëpp.
waaw mu la jërëjëf bu baax a baax sa programme bi.
jërëjëf.
sa programme bi su woote bi jotee dama dee toog ak suma njaboot yi fu mu nekk maa ngi toog di la seetaan.
Wallaay thank you very much.
ak sa doom ak suma jabar ak rakam yëpp ñu ngi la seetaan.
Thank you very much. Fooy callee from?
sa programme bi toujours maa ngi la doon seetaan toujours.
Thank you very much.
Mu ne fan nga callee?
maa ngi callee Yundum.
Yundum waa baax na jërëjëf.
Yes, Yundum.
Jërëjëf.
Thank you. You see, Alif Lam Mim Ghulibatir Rum. Then you see that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very sympathetic with Christians. So you can see now then, if now you are developing a relationship, this goal that you have just mentioned can be divided into four. Number one, if you are now going to develop a relationship with a non-Muslim, number one, your own objective, your first objective is to have positive impact on him by good word. You see, good word, Aisatu, is just like, as the Quran says, al-kalimatu tayyiba, kashajaratu tayyiba. You see, you can acquire hundreds of thousands of friends by just one good word. That's why if you are going to any individual, for that matter non-Muslim, your aim is not just to go and engage in other things. Your aim should be to go and have a positive impact on him. A dialogue.
In a very peaceful way.
You go and talk to him to make sure that before you leave that...
There's another call on the line.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Oh, you missed it. You see?
Probably a fuller. That's what they do.
Now, to go and have an impact, a positive impact in what you feel as a peace, what you feel as light. Secondly, is also to have influence by conduct. To go, because there are people you befriend them after some days, they see that definitely what you are claiming to be, you are. I said last year, I was in the United States about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Then I had a conference. Some women came to me. They were converted by some Muslims, but they became confused. They said, we are confused. Why? Because our husbands who converted us are drinking.
Ah, God.
Our husbands who converted us, you see what I mean? How can you go and ask somebody to revert, and then the moment that he comes to the house,